We made it after 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Whew. I thought that was going to go on forever. So this is the chrysalis. And there is Minfilia and the big statue of Zodiac in the background. You'll notice those are the seats around the edge that the Ascians sit on. So there used to be a reasonable amount of strategy to this, but these days, with the buffs to healing and stuff, it is just generally tank and spank. Let the main tank do it. Labrielis casts Spark, which is a reasonably high damage attack, but he can also cast double and triple, which is basically double cast, triple cast. At various points he will summon these balls, which we want to stop getting to him, but you want to alternate them. So if you've got a red one, then you want to get a spiky one, and so forth. There's also these shadow sprites that need killing. And he will do an AoE. And that deals damage depending on how many of those balls got to him. His next attack is to start, his next ability is to start teleporting around like this. It's a tad frustrating. But again, with the gear advances, there's not a huge amount of danger here. It's when he starts casting triple that you want to be a little bit again. Ooh. If you time your provoke right, you can make it so that the main tank doesn't take all the damage from triple. Which you used to have to do that, not so much anymore. And he's now going to do the ball thing again. So spike you on, blow you on. Blow. As I say, you do ideally want to alternate them because the buff lasts longer each time. Somebody's apparently died. Well done. We shall continue to channel. Big ass quake spell. And he's now have to teleport him around a bit. He's going to get to a stage where he teleports out. Right, so he's cast Blight on us, which lasts 16 seconds. And you want to be pulling yourself away from the centre of the room. If you do that, then this next bit, your tanks want to be coming and standing under these things. You'll notice that I'm basically invulnerable because I've got hallowed ground on. Oh, jeez, everybody's wiped. What the fuck are you doing? Shouts somebody. To a party of 8 people. Let's try that again. So that's how you don't do it. Yes, in that phase you want your tanks to stand under the meteors and all the DPS go on the ad, including limit breaking it if you need to. Do, 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 do. Unfortunately, this is quite a long fight. Cool arena though. So yeah, when you go into the Rift, any buffs or debuffs that you've got on you are massively extended, which is why you kind of want to get to stay out of it until the very last second, because it gives you just enough time for that Blight debuff to wear off. The Blight debuff is a really nasty slow and AoE over time, I think. But also, if you pop Hallowed Ground just before you go in, it Rather than 10 seconds of absolute immunity, it gives you 60. And obviously that means that you can tank those meteors quite nicely. Any other buffs I've got as well, they are nice to pop. So if you've got Sentinel or something up, you can use that. Just going to watch out for the shadow sprites. He will summon more sprites over time. Almost there. So yeah, as you get, see, Blight is a damage over time, corruption. We're always drawn in on that last one. So you want to try and limit break the tear. There we go. Nice and easy. Now the people are paying attention. And then we just kill. Hey. I always like to get myself killed at that last bit. And there we go, 100 poetics, secret Asian man. We survive. Ooh. That fight used to be harder, in the sense that it was harder to tank the damage, so you had to tank swap. As soon as you got to like triple, the main tank would take the first hit, or first two hits, and then you'd swap, you'd provoke off him. So you'd take the third hit, because otherwise it was basically impossible to keep a tank up at the appropriate item level for when this came out. Obviously it's a lot easier now, and having the echo really helps as well. Okay, so we're going to get some story now, and those of you cutting onions, watch out.
You're safe. Thank the 12.
he's eternal.
You may have bested me this day, but what of the next? What of all the days to come? Remember, light no longer holds sway here. I may return whensoever I wish, again and again and again. Eventually, you will falter, and the staff will be mine. Until next time, scions.
There will be no next time. This is the end.
So that's going to stop him escaping.
What? What trickery is this? No. No! You cannot! No!
There's a problem, however.
Use Tube Samadhi to gather ether. Quickly, before he breaks free. Concentrate. Call to mind the time you struck down La Habrea with the Blade of Light.
The trouble is, we haven't got the blessing. It's not strong enough.
Why won't it work? Is it because we lack the blessing of light?
Damn it. So much ether. And it still isn't enough.
Fools! No mortal prison can contain me! I shall make you pay for your insolence!
Please, Mother Heidelin, hearken to our plea. Lend us your divine light. Why can you not hear us? Do our words no longer reach you?
She's just too weak.
If only we had a bit more ether.
Moonbreeder, what are you doing?
Master Louisoix, I understand now. The choice you made in death. There is life. Farewell, Urianger. You damned old coot.
Moonbreeder, no! You mustn't!
What? No! It cannot end! I am eternal! I am immortal!
Moonbreeder. She's gone.
In death is life, yes, as was explained in the cutscene a while back. Upon the death of a mortal, their soul, their ether, returns to the life stream, returns to the ethereal sea. But in this case, she uses her soul, her ether, to reinforce our weapon. And yeah, she sacrifices herself quite literally in all senses of her being in order to defeat Nabrialis.
You did it, my friend. The Ascian is dead. This device is a legacy of Moonbreeder's toils and sacrifice. I shall hold on to it for safekeeping.
Minfilia, are you all right?
I am.
Oh, we were surveying northern Thanalan when we received the distress call. We returned as swiftly as we were able.
It seems you have everything in hand, however.
What happened here? Where is Moonbreeder?
She's gone.
She gave her life to temper the Blade of Light. I have no words.
Rather than await the inevitable, she took her fate into her own hands.
But she was going to die otherwise.
Demajen know?
She'd already been mortally wounded, so... Speak of the devil.
My friend, there is something I must tell you.
I heard all, my lady. The moon sinketh, taking her leave of the heavens, yet her passing heraldeth the coming of a new day. Moonbreeder hath fulfilled her destiny, hath she not? Long ago, far across the seas in the Charlayan motherland, Moonbreeder and I did study under the sage tutelage of Master Louis Soir. Full oft did he impress upon us that knowledge existeth to serve the greater good. This sentiment, however, was contrary to the nation's policy of neutrality, which censured intercedence in the affairs of foreign lands. In spite of vehement opposition, he founded the Circle of Knowing, and journeyed hither to the heart of Eorzea. Through his noble sacrifice was the realm spared its doom. Yet this great soul, whom all should rightly have honored, was branded a pariah in his own land. His peers did accuse him of forsaking his duty as a man of learning, and of meddling in the course of history. When he left Charlayan behind, Master Louis Soir gave no word to signal his intent to Moonbreeder. Close as they were, as master and disciple, she was deeply wounded by the sudden exclusion from his confidence. Above all, however, she was confused. Try as she might, she could ill comprehend her master's motive. The slanders that were heaped upon him after his passing served only to inflame the turmoil within her. For years upon end, she knew not what to believe. Torn as she was twixt the man whom she revered and the man who forsook her and his duty both.
The Louis Soir I knew would never forsake his duty, much less one of his own.
This I know full well, my lady. 'Twas not for want of love that Master Louis Soir hid his intent. He but desired that Moonbreeder discover her own path, free of the shadow of his influence. Long did I contemplate revealing the truth to her, and long did I hold my peace. After all, was it not Master Louis Soir's wish that she come to the truth unaided? I told myself it was, and resolved to let her suffer. Knowingly did I deny my friend the comfort she craved. And now she hath gone to her rest, with doubt still in her heart. Speakest thou in earnest? Did Moonbreeder truly come to understand Master Louis Soir's will before the end?
Yep.
The realization hath set her free. She may now find the peace which hath for so long eluded her. Oh, Moonbreeder, my dearest, how I shall miss thee.
Moonbreeder gave her life that we might possess the means to defeat the Ascians. Her sacrifice must not be in vain. Let us continue her work on the Blade of Ether and see it to completion.
My lady, I would mourn Moonbreeder in mine own way. I beg your permission to return to the Waking Sands.
Of course, my friend. Take all the time you require. We shall be here should you have need of us.
Yeah, I've often criticised the voice acting in this game, but equally over the last couple of videos of a couple of patches, I have started to praise it a little bit more. I definitely praised Moonbreeder and her characterisation, and I think that final speech from Urianger there was very much the turning point for voice acting quality. No, not the turning point. It set the bar. Let's put it that way for voice acting in this game. We don't really hear Urianger speak at length before this, and actually we don't really hear a whole lot from him during Heaven's Ward either. He does speak, but nothing quite so heartfelt and emotional as that. And after that scene with Moonbreeder, you definitely need some gravitas to add to a chunk of exposition like that. So yeah, it's quite hard emotionally to play through the 2.5 storyline and actually the 2.4 one. You know, after the introduction of Moonbreeder, knowing that this was coming up. Never have I seen Urianger so utterly defeated. No one should be made to suffer such grief. We shall gather in the Charlayan Manor to celebrate Moonbreeder's life and mourn her passing. Okay, we are in memory of Moonbreeder. This is the final main story quest for 2.5. It's more of an epilogue, I think, to her story than anything else. As Moonbreeder was a native of Charlayan, I feel it only fitting that we gather before the mark of the scholar. Are you familiar with this stone? You won't be, unless you played version 1. 'Tis a monument found at Wraithfrost and is sacred to Thaliach, guardian duty of the City of Learning. There shall we pray for our dear friend's soul and bid her a peaceful return to the light of the Mother Crystal. So there is the implication that the ether that Moonbreeder sacrificed, to defeat the Ascian, it will return to the ethereal sea. It's energy, and even in this fantasy world, energy doesn't truly disappear. But if that is the case, and I'm not entirely sure whether this is consistent or not, what actually happens to the Ascians? Because of course the Ascians are essentially energy. Maybe the Ascians disintegrate or dissipate or whatever they call it, and their constituent will is... Yeah, actually maybe that's it. Maybe it's their will that we are destroying, the will that holds them together as a distinct personality, and the ether that makes them up will then dissipate. Because of course, the consistency in this game is that... where are we going? There, very fast. When you die in this game, in this universe, your ether dissipates and then you are reborn, not as yourself, but as somebody new. The ether comes back. Whereas the Ascians have such force of will that they reconstitute as themselves. They are beings of energy. Maybe that's what the Blade of Light does. It dissipates them to the extent that they cannot reforge themselves. Yeah, I mean, how do you kill something that is essentially immortal? Endless, eternal. So yes, this is Wraithfrost. This is one of the more corrupted parts. There are these Harrier mobs. Certain classes need to come and kill some of these for their hunting log. Jess, you've got this this lovely crystallised tree, and if it weren't so foggy, you'd have a really nice view out over Silvertier as well. But here is the mark of the scholar on this rock here. There are 12 of these rocks around the world, and in 1.0, one of the quests just before the end of 1.0 service, there was a quest that you go and visit all 12 of these to invoke prayers to stop Dalamud falling.
Forgive me, Moonbreeder. Had I been quicker or wiser?
Yeah, had I been quicker. There's a couple of times in FF14 storytelling where realistically there was plenty of time to stop something or interrupt something, and the characters didn't for sake of drama. It's a little bit annoying, but it's plot, isn't it? It tells the story.
But I was not, and you paid the price. But you would not suffer us to wallow in our sorrow, would you? You would tell us to pick ourselves up and get on with it. And so we shall. We shall defend this realm and her people to the last.
Hello, Midgard Soma.
Life for death. A fair exchange. Other bargains will be struck.
Because it's free. Let's teleport back. Yes. Just noticed in that cutscene, FF14 is a game that looks really good at a distance, but you really don't want to get up close and look at things. Though we have said our farewells, the pall of sadness is diminished but little. Forgive me. As antecedent, 'tis my job to be the pillar of strength for all others to lean upon. Yet I also believe the grief we feel now is precious in its own way and not to be lightly swept aside. Do you not agree? Tis as if a dagger has been thrust into my breast. But 'tis a pain we must learn to bear if we are to forge ahead with our duty. The battles we have fought have taken the lives of so many. Louis Soir, Moonbreeder, our fellows at the Waking Sands. Poor Noraxia. Their spirit and dedication to our cause, however, will never be lost as long as we rise to fight once more. I hardly need to remind you of this, of course. 'Tis for my own benefit that I repeat these words, a reaffirmation of my own chosen path. I do not rebuild the foundation of my resolve. If I do not rebuild the foundation of my resolve, I am like to collapse in a fit of weeping. My apologies again. There is no other to whom I could display such weakness. You are my pillar of strength, and I fear I shall have need of your steadfast presence in my days to come. A victory won, a comrade lost, to honour the fallen, the living force ever on toward the light of a new day. And there we have it. That is 2.5. Short, but emotional. Keeper of the Lake was a fun dungeon. The Chrysalis is a nice trial. It's a pity we had to queue for half an hour to get into that, but it's certainly not one that people tend to choose to queue for. Even though it's not particularly difficult, assuming you don't get people that screw up the middle phase. The stuff with the Crystal Braves is very much set up for this final patch. And we will see what happens soon. We've got the Ascian storyline out of the way for a little while. So we've got the Ishgard stuff, which people knew by this point that Heaven's Ward was on the horizon. So it's set up for that. And then we've got all of the stuff to do with the Crystal Braves, and there's quite a lot of stuff coming up that leads into the expansion. That being said, 2.55, which is the second part of Before the Fall, it was a couple of months after the stuff that we've just played. So there's a 2-month gap for us to, go and play in the Gold Saucer and do this, that, and the other. I have not played any of the 2.55 stuff since I did this back in March 2015. Well, April 2015, realistically. So I can't remember any of this, unlike the stuff that we've just played, which I did reasonably recently on my main alt. The stuff that's coming up I haven't done at all. So this will be quite interesting for me because I don't remember a lot of what happens, and it will be a bit of a journey of rediscovery for me. But anyway, that was Before the Fall Part 1. I'm going to go and have some food now because I haven't eaten since about 5:30 yesterday evening, and that's not good for you. So I'm going to quit this here, and I will see you all in the next episode, 2.5 Part 2. Toodle pip for now.